Hey, I'm Lee.
I'm Ajai, and welcome to Impact Youth. Today, we will be covering how to survive and thrive within quarantine.
I like it.
So, today I would like to discuss how I personally am able to keep myself company and make sure that I have enough time to do whatever I want, and how personally quarantine has affected me. Because, for example, I mainly have been playing a lot of video games, probably a little bit too much. But my dad has started to make me do yard work around the house, make sure that I stay up and active, so then I'm not just a complete lazy potato on the couch, and I'm actually getting some exercise like I would usually do during PE at school.
Oh, there you go. Keeps you from getting them, we call them at work admin arms there. Cool. I've been fortunate enough that my routine really hasn't changed at all because I've been working every day. Because of my job position, my routine has stayed the same each and every day. Just changes in when I go in and stuff, but it's kept me plenty busy. But I have seen the impacts it's had on the rest of my family, though, too. So it has made for some interesting times.
Also, there's a lot of things that, as we go into this, quarantine has made a lot of people confused because they don't really know what to do. And on top of that, it's like, how would you take up your time? Because now we have all the time in the world, and some people don't really know what to do with it. So me personally, I've started reading the Bible more often. Mm-hmm. So then I'm slowly getting closer to God, and I can understand the Bible a lot better. Because it honestly helps a lot, because then you start to realize, basically, in Deuteronomy 31, verse 8, "Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord will personally go ahead of you. He will be with you, and he will neither fail nor abandon you." That verse has kind of helped me get through quarantine, because as I start to feel lonelier and lonelier, I could always find a little bit of comfort knowing that God is always by me and he's always with me.
Wow. Yeah, that is a comforting verse there, and a great reminder about how even when we feel lonely or isolated or feeling dumpy, just right? That he is there. He is ever present with us, and that we can turn to him and spend time, like you said, with him, right?
Yeah. Also, during quarantine, I've started to realize that since that we have social media, and we also have Xbox, PS4, all these online gaming platforms, we have more time to talk with our friends, and those who we don't have strong, meaningful relationships with. Now all of a sudden we have all this time to build up those relationships, get to know them. And it would help a lot more, because on top of that, you don't feel as lonely because you slowly started to begin to get more and more friends. And on top of that, you could also, instead of just building relationships with people in our physical world, we could also start building relationships with God in our spiritual world. And that would honestly help a lot too, because even if our friends aren't able to answer our invitations to parties on Xbox and PS4, we can always have time to talk to God, to pray to God too.
I like it. So what I hear you saying, Ajay, is that with this time that a lot of people have had, being stuck at home, I've heard a lot about the video games, and I think that's kind of a running theme probably with, amongst our youth too. But a key component, even with the video games, is relationship. And one of the things, I was talking to someone at work just the other day, and they were one of those that was able to stay home a lot and telework, and it actually gave them a lot more free time. And so they were sharing with how the things that they always said they were too busy for, they were able to start spending time on during this time. And one of the things was working on their relationship with their spouse and their family, because they always feel like they're working so hard and spending so much time at work that their family relations get neglected. But he said it's been able to give him more quality time to spend that time with his family at home, and so that it's been actually beneficial in that way. And that kind of reminds me too of God, when he talked about in the New Testament even about the importance of relationships. And Jesus was actually asked the question, what is the greatest commandment, right? And he said, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, And the second is equally important, is to love your neighbor as yourself. In other words, Jesus says that the most important thing is make him your number one relationship. And if you put him number one and then love others with that kind of love that he's provided us the example of how to love, right? Then that will help. That's what enriches your life, and so given this gift of time that so many have been given, the chance to work on those relationships with God, just like you're talking about, and with others, right? Is really can make for a healthier, better life for you.
Yeah, because there's also been multiple studies that have shown that the more isolated we feel and the more lonely we feel, it could start decreasing our cognitive functions. We could start to become depressed, and we have more intense mood swings.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, it can, I don't know how, but I didn't read too much into it but it can negatively affect our immune systems.
Wow.
Yeah, and especially during this time where coronavirus attacks our COVID-19 attacks our immune systems, I don't think that's a good thing to do.
Probably not a good position to be in.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. That brings up a good point, because I would imagine that there are, with so many families being home together so much, which is uncommon in a lot of cases, right? If you have two full-time working parents and things like that, I would imagine for many families out there, it's probably put a strain on relationships as well, made it hard because they're not used to being around each other so much. So I totally get what you're saying. I think that's why it's so important to remember that, to make sure we're spending that time with God, right? And focusing on him, making him number one, and then using that example he provided us and trying to build better relationships with each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, we thank you all for listening. We hope this was helpful to you. And, if you have any comments or questions about it, be sure to provide the comments below, and we'll get back to you on it. And if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up there, and maybe we can have Ajai back too. Ajai, I appreciate you doing this with me today.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me, Mr. Lee.
All right. God bless y'all. Have a great day.
God bless.